Musical composition develops in parallel with the choreographic process. I work with composer Jules Maxwell, who will come into the rehearsal space once a week over 6 or 7 weeks, developing songs, soundscapes, pieces of music, and live accompaniment with direction from me in the space with the collaborators. In the past, I've worked with live musicians who are also composers, namely Patrycja Kujawska and Alex Katona, who's a violinist and a cellist, and they were in my work for a long time, and they would compose as we composed the action. They would compose the sound, but they were also brilliant performers in their own rights. I don't work with either of them anymore. They've gone on to different things. I now work with Jules Maxwell, who is, I suppose, more conventional in that he makes work on a computer with a keyboard remotely and in the studio, but he also is brilliant at understanding the work and translating either an atmosphere or making a piece of music to accompany dance, text, to underscore certain activities that I put on stage. And also is excellent at integrating the recorded conversations and personal testimonies that people who aren't in the work have offered into the process in the early research of the work.
Let everything happen. And I remember him hitting me as well. He really hit me across the face, and I just let everything happen.
So Jules layers sound for Vincent Dance Theatre's work. Sometimes it includes these recorded testimonies with an underscore.
Yeah, and that's what I think most of the boys nowadays, you have to have a pretty girl, you have to have someone that has a big arch, big tits, not even that, it has to have a nice figure.
Sometimes it's a variation on a piece of music that he might compose and then compose different variations of. And sometimes it's a song that somebody might sing. Sometimes we steal pop music or make a bad pop song and he'll help us compose that and learn how to sing it. Let me look into your eyes and think it's so wonderful. He'll also write the music for really simple things that people might play. Novices might play musical instruments in the work as a kind of play school reference. So in Loco Parentis we all had these funny mouth organ things and Jules helped us with the music for that, how to play it. So he's a fantastic collaborator to have in the room, and the musical soundscape is usually very similar in the film installation version of the work, but Bosie often has to talk to Jules about either re-editing or repurposing a piece of music to match the film installation a little bit more appropriately than the direct piece of music that correlated with that material in the live show. So there is still a process when we make a film installation where Jules has to generate, or we ask him to generate a little bit more music or soundscape to help us out. I think I use music and sound in many different ways. Music itself, that's originally composed, can underscore a dance or movement-based scene.
History, subjective.
The integration of
Parental information,
a recorded testimony that's underscored or just left very plain
paternal,
can bring us back into the real world and
adopted,
can hit against the abstract and jerk us out of the poetic. And Jules knows how to do that compositionally. And sometimes it can just be a relief to hear a beautiful piece of piano music that he's written. Less and less now I will use a piece of music that I found, like a piece of Bach or Bieber or a pop music. That's not only for copyright purposes, it's because Jules does such a good job, or the live musicians used to do such a good job of tracking the piece of work from within or from without musically. I think when there's a group dance, we'll often have a big number that goes with it, that Jules or whichever composer I'm working with, that composer constructs for that big group dance. But often it's done for light relief, so it won't be a sort of deep and meaningful piece of music. It'll often be either a churning thing or a slightly amusing thing. If I think about a churning sequence of duets that go around the wall in loco parentis, or if I think about the churning circle that anchors Shut Down as a piece of work, these are group ensemble movement pieces. They're often really quite dramatic, big, epic pieces of music that kind of lift the whole space up and give a very particular rhythm for the dancers to stick to. A lot of the rest of the time, the composer would create a more atmospheric underscore for the work. That might support the text or a much more delicate testimony.
Sat at a table, my foster carer, my new foster carer.
Or a small moment with a child on stage. So I think we range musically from the epic to the very domestic to the very atmospheric, and that's how I like it.